All right, before we get started, let me paint the picture of what a kid killer looks like. Okay? He rapped about killing people. This kid rapped about destruction, he rapped about chaos and bringing bodies on bodies. He rapped about making his community a literal death zone. This boy was not striving to be anything other than a menace to society. The very first case, they got him walking around in the innocent rapper starter kit fit with the "I couldn't have done it because I got a lineup" haircut and the academic scholar Padawan glasses. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened in the first case. This boy was with his homie in a drive-through line at a restaurant, to which reports say they then started to be disrespectful by making sexual assertions and innuendos towards a young lady in another vehicle in that same drive-through line. But the young lady is with someone at the time that's there present in the vehicle as well. Someone who doesn't take kindly to the disrespect, apparently. And so a full-blown argument breaks out. The disrespected party leaps onto the hood. This young man leaps onto the hood of the car that Tay K is in and starts stomping the shit out of his window shield. He gets to stomping in his Air Force Ones. Tay K and his homie try to hit the gas, but before they can really get anywhere, Tay K says, "You know what? I got this." Then proceeds to get out of the car, shoot the guy off of his hood and windshield. Then reports say he took a little bag of weed and stuffed it into the victim's mouth as he laid on the ground dying before speeding off. Now, y'all, see, some of y'all like to play GTA. I like to play GTA too. But this kid was actually out here trying to live GTA. Tamor Trayvon McIntyre, okay? He was born on June 16th, 2000, okay? That's the day before my birthday. Year 2000. So that would make him today, that means that he is 24 years old, soon to be 25, right? Better known by his stage name, Tay K. He was an American rapper and convicted murderer. Jesus Christ. Those are two things that you do not want to follow one another, right? Let me give you some background on his music career and tell you what happened as to where he started to get recognized. So, on the same day that he was captured by U.S. Marshals, he released a record called The Race, okay? And it was released after 3 months of him evading and being on the run from authorities. What did he do? Well, he murdered somebody. Let's see. In January 2016, he was named a bystander in a murder that resulted in the conviction of one of his bandmates. In June of that year, he was named a defendant in a trial for a home invasion and robbery that left 21-year-old Ethan Walker dead. In March 2017, while on house arrest, Tay K cut off his ankle monitor and went on the run. Upon his detainment and subsequent transportation back to Texas, McIntyre received online support from fans of the song. Of course he did, because we support the dumbest and most egregious shit in our culture. And because we love this and we eat it up, and we think that in order to be a representation of what it is that you rap about, that you actually have to live this life, and you got to go out here and do something to prove that you about what it is that you rap about, right? Stupid ass black culture. Anyway, let's continue. Tay K's management team released his second mixtape while he was in the county jail in Fort Worth. That's fucking. In 2019, he was found guilty of murder for his involvement in the 2016 home invasion, resulting in the death of Ethan Walker. He was sentenced to 55 years in prison. In November 2019, McIntyre was indicted on a second murder charge for shooting 23-year-old Mark Anthony Saldivar while on the run in 2017. He was convicted in April of 2025, and he has been sentenced to 80 years in prison. Now, I want you to take a good look at his picture. This was him in 2017, just 17 years old. 17 years old, he looks like a baby. He looks like a baby, but he decided that he wanted to be a high school dropout. So he dropped out of freshman year. Freshman year, he drops out of high school. Doesn't even give it a shot. Freshman year, he says, I don't want to do this shit. I want to go and rob people. I want to live my raps. Right? A couple more things before we get to the judge's sentencing. Because I want to read you a specific part of what he was involved with. So it says, McIntyre's legal problems began on January 1st, 2016. After performing at a New Year's Eve celebration event in Denton, Texas, McIntyre was in a car with a U.S. Marine and fellow Daytona Boys member Eric Santana Sage Johnson, who was no doubt an emotional piece of shit, who shot University North Texas student Sarah Mutzlechner. I'm not even going to try to read her last name because I'm going to butcher it like I just did. So, Sarah. And he shot this young woman in the head. He killed her following an argument between occupants of the car carrying Johnson and McIntyre and occupants of another car carrying people leaving the same party, including Sarah. Witnesses stated that passengers in the car carrying Johnson and McIntyre sexually accosted Sarah. So basically, they was trying to holler, I'm assuming, and this shit got out of hand, as it usually does, because niggas have no boundaries, and they're super emotional. Johnson pleaded not guilty, but was convicted of the murder and sentenced to 44 years in prison. McIntyre was not charged in the case. See what kind of problems you can get into when you have stupid-ass friends? Because by default, if you're with them and something goes down, you get dragged into it too. So if your friends are dumb, then by default, you're also dumb because you probably shouldn't have been hanging with them in the first place, because look at what happens. But there's more. In July 2016, so 6 months later, McIntyre and 6 other people were arrested on capital murder charges related to a home invasion that resulted in that death that we read about just earlier. So he wasn't done, right? That wasn't enough for him being involved in a murder case, right? He was like, no, that's not enough living out my raps. I still need to go out here and be more of a menace. My name isn't really getting out here. I'm not really known in these streets as that. Well, let's bring you all up to speed and find out what's going on with rapper Tay K today, because he is going away for a very long time.
All right. It states that we unanimously find that the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, did not cause the death of Anthony Saldivar under the immediate influence of sudden passion arising from adequate cause. It states that punishment to be assessed at 80 years in the prison, and there is no fine. Does anyone wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Quick note. Isn't it amazing how we dress these criminals up and these murderers, and we dress these menaces to society up, and we put them in a fancy little tie. We give them a suit and tie, or in this case, we give them a little sweater vest to put on over his collared shirt and his tie, and we slap some glasses on him. He has problems seeing. He didn't have a problem seeing when he was doing home invasions, but now he has problems seeing, so now he's got to wear the glasses. We slap some glasses on him. We give that big ass head of his a taper, and we have him coming in. We have him looking fresh, nice and fresh. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing how we try to present these murderers and these killers to be upstanding professional citizens of our economy? Isn't it crazy how we try to paint an image before the jury so that we hopefully sway them and give them the image. Look, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad kid. He just got caught up in some mischief. He's not terrible. He's not what you all are painting him out to be. Look, he's got on a suit and tie.
I'm first going to start with your unanimous decision stating that there was no finding of sudden passion. If that is your verdict, I'll need you to respond yes. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
We'll start on the end. Is this your verdict? I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? I'm on the back row. I'm sorry. Is this your verdict on the back row? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? With regards to the sentence of 80 years in the prison and no fine, if this is your verdict, I need you to answer yes. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
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 Back row, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
24 right now.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you go back to the jury room, and I'll meet you back there shortly. All right, Mr. McIntyre, the jury found you guilty of murder. Your punishment is to be assessed at 80 years in the prison. The court will give you credit for any time served. There's a $0 fine. And with regards to the other offense, State, are you requesting that to be stacked?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor.
And I'm assuming you're against that, is that correct?
We are, Your Honor. We would just like to briefly, for the record, maintain that our argument would be that to run consecutively an 80-year sentence on top of 50.
Just one moment, counsel. Just give me one moment. Mr. McIntyre, I want you to know that I listened to all of the evidence in punishment and thought about whether or not your sentence should be stacked. I don't know where your mom is, don't know where your father is. I know that you had a rough childhood. And I do know that these offenses occurred when you were very young. And I understand the state of the law, what people consider an adult. I listened to the testimony of the expert that was brought by defense counsel. You've already been sentenced to murder in the other county, and then you have a murder here. And the sentence for 55 years, that's a stiff sentence. This 80-year sentence is a stiff sentence. And these are cases where you have to serve half your time.
So these are cases where he has to, she just named two cases. The first case, 55 years. Half of 55 is at least 27. So he got to do at least 27 for the other murder charge. This murder charge was 80 years. So he's got to do at least 40 for this. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are already up to about 70 years that he has to serve. That's mandatory. That's not include. That's just half. Assuming that he only has to serve half of those sentences and that they don't run concurrently. Assuming that, okay? Or that they do run concurrently. We're up to 70 years. He's already 24 years old. I'm going to let her finish.
And that's day for day time. And I recognize that. Hopefully you will grow, but based upon his age, based upon the number of years that he has received out of Tarrant County and the number of years that he's received here, based upon his history and the lack of any type of good parenting. From what I can tell, his mother wasn't a good parent to him. His father wasn't a good parent to him. Child Protective Services was not good. And if you believe the testimony, I don't know why Child Protective Services would place children back with a father who put the children's mother in the hospital. Is there something else that needs to be done with our society? Yes. Is more money need for Child Protective Services and their workers? Yes. And I do realize that while this is a lot of time, and I tell people all the time, any time that you do in custody is a lot of time. But by that same token, you're still alive. And what the state has said is true. You're still alive. You can still better yourself. If you end up in prison for the rest of your life, you're still alive. You still can improve yourself. Your family can still visit you. But the complainant in this case is deceased. And you need to internalize that the complainant in this case is deceased. And that his family is never going to see him again. So you're going to have to make changes. And you're going to have to remove people from your life who are not of benefit in the means of making you a better person. And I do understand that sometimes people will go to prison, they join gangs because you need protection, because you're there by yourself, you're young, but you're going to have to make better choices. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to sentence him to 80 years in the prison, give him credit for any time served. There is a $0 fine. This will run concurrent with 1511547D.
Smoked. Smoking. Smoking. Absolutely smoked. Y'all believe in rehabilitation? I don't. For those who have rehabilitated and came out and moved on and did something cool great with their life or good or whatever, kudos to you, I guess. Shout out to y'all. Cool, whatever. Y'all made it out after y'all did some egregious shit. You don't get a pat on the back for that from me. I don't give a fuck who you are. Family, whatever. You don't get a pat on the back for doing some egregious shit, going to prison, and then getting out, and then, I changed my life around. Cool. Right, cool. Well, but we don't give out cookies. We don't pass out home-baked cookies to you because you got out and you started picking your life up. This is some shit that that should just be the standard. Let's raise the standard in the fucking black community to where the standard is, we actually become something and become worthwhile for our communities and to society. Let that be the standard. Not going to jail and then hopefully we get out to where we can change our life around, and everybody loves a cool story, a good story, but I'm sick of that. Y'all not sick of that story? Y'all not sick of listening to the fucking the soliloquies of these people that go to jail, get out, and they talk about how they turn their life around and how they like, okay, bro, I've heard this story 1,000 times. How about we just not go to jail in the first place? How about we not do anything in our lives that is going to lead us into eternal damnation in the first place? How about we just be good people, great citizens, and great community members from the beginning, from the first place? Like, how about we start there? How about we let that be the standard? This boy got smoked. He out of here. He out of here. And no doubt he gonna have to join. The judge already said he gonna have to join some type of gang while he in there in order to protect his hole. In order to protect his booty hole, he is going to have to get with somebody or somebodies and link up with somebody. His whole life is done. And I'm tired of hearing the old trope of I didn't have a good father, I didn't have a good mother. There's tons of people that didn't have great parents and that grew up to be really good people. I know some. That's how I know. But you got what you wanted. You got smoked. You got smoked. Cautionary tale. Yet another one for the black community. Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one.